Hello, Stephen. How are you?
It's fall. It's autumnal time.
Oh, I'm so jealous of your fall
Oh, that's right. You
in New
don't get
York.
seasons. Are there any seasons in Los
Fuck
Angeles?
Los Angeles. Fuck this place.
There are
There are
no
no
seasons.
seasons. It's like summer has been deathly hot, like 99, 99 every day. And yeah, I mean, the lack of seasons, I think, is going to probably be, it's going to be really telling of like how long I can bear this.
You're really going to need
Fucking
to
place.
invest in Halloween decorations then.
Oh my
So you
God,
don't get
I've already,
confused at the time of year.
it's so cute.
Little
Like the
gel stickies for
neighborhood-
the window.
little gel stickies. Yes. I'll go walking and there's already a house with like full on like blow up ghosts. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They're trying to
And
remember
then,
what the date is. That's what they're doing. It's a little.
Quite
it's their
honestly,
flip
yes.
calendar.
that you need it here.
Yeah, you need it.
here. I'm walking down the
grounding.
street and I'm like, what the fuck is this house doing with ghosts and shit? And then I look up and it's September, what, 24th?
Already. Well, it's
Already.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's appropriate. That's 100% appropriate decor.
should
that-
leave them.
that I was like-
should leave them a note.
Like, I'm going to knock. I'm going to knock.
Hey,
Excuse me.
I
Thank
approve.
you. I just go, thank you.
Thank you.
I was walking. I kind of love, okay, I'm not trying to be a creep, but I love like kind of eavesdropping in windows. Like I love seeing what people are up to.
Oh,
Do you do that? Is that a weird thing to admit?
holding the fifth.
No, come on.
Well, yeah, from afar.
From afar. I don't even think I'm seeing much, but like I just like looking in a window and being like, what's your life like? What is your kitchen? Okay, this is big. What does your kitchen look like?
Right.
That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
true. Especially as you're walking on the streets in Brooklyn here, it's very interesting to see what people put on display in their windows. And
Yes.
not decor, but just like what are they letting you see? What do you have access to from the
obsessed.
street?
I love you see like a glowing TV, you look in, it's like sports. You're like, oh, typical.
Darn.
But if you look in, it's the housewives, you're like, wow,
Fun
I'm coming
house.
back.
Turn it up.
Fun house.
Turn it up. Can't hear.
Could you imagine that knock?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I love this episode.
That would be so fun. Let me think what else happened. Oh my God, you had a birthday.
I turned 30. I'm so old.
So perfect.
Old.
Are you okay to say that out loud? You are.
Yeah, I'm
You
fine
like
with
it.
it. I'm fine with it. I'm done with my 20s.
Fuck the 20s. We're over it.
They're so exhausting.
They are so exhausting.
And it was fun while it lasted. What's the expression? Smile because it happened. Wait, smile, cry Wait, what is it?
Don't cry because it's over.
Oh, smile
Smile because it happened. There was a real time in my life when that was like
And that ruled
That
your
got
mental
me.
space. Oh. That got you.
rent free in my mind.
That got you through some tough spots.
I remember graduating high school and walking through my town,
Muttering that to
and there's-
yourself.
Muttering. No, there's like a sign shop in my town that like has like signs like beach crossing. Like that's not a real sign, but do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
signs,
yeah.
like live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
And I'm passing the sign shop and I see that quote and I start to tear up on Main Street in my small town.
It
I
takes more
literally had the
muscles to
thought.
frown than it does to smile.
I had the thought, you should go back and buy that. I saw the best post ever this week. The post was
What?
people who are successful don't post inspirational quotes. And I was like, yes.
That is the one thing that I do
Yes.
miss about not being on Facebook for like 6 years now are
Good for you.
the quotes
They infuriate
and the
me. They probably
information.
shouldn't.
and the information that people disseminate.
Oh my God. Facebook is... someone once like tweeted like Facebook is the garbage that lines my purse. It's like...
Speaking of like garbage in purses, I think that we should get into LulaRich
Oh,
and we should become independent resellers because I want to make a
my
full-time
God.
salary with a part-time job.
You turned my world upside down with that doc this week. I only watched the first two. I couldn't get the other ones in yet.
If you're hearing this now, the LulaRich documentary has been out for a while. So
LulaRich.
LulaRich. And if you haven't seen it, that's unfortunate.
Run, don't walk.
Yeah.
To Amazon Prime.
It's honestly appropriate for the whole family. So I don't think there's anything inappropriate in it. So
it's a family company, family run, family owned.
Mormon. And it's...
Love it.
Yeah.
Fashion leggings and dresses of heinous prints.
Do you own any maxi skirts?
No, but very funnily, I was like, should I get a maxi skirt when I was watching the doc?
I was like, I just haven't seen a maxi skirt in a minute.
So you'll start to see it everywhere now. It'll be like on the brain. There's like a cheetah print skirt that takes Manhattan by storm every fall, and girls tuck a graphic tee in.
Oh, I love
it. Rolling Stones graphic tee.
A graphic tee into the maxi skirt.
Yes, and I passed one. I was in New York last month, and I passed one in the window of a local shop, and I was like, I should get that outfit. I'm so kind of basic. Yeah. It's very easy to get me.
I mean, the idea of the maxi skirt seems so appealing. I mean, it looks so comfortable. And
it is so
and you
comfortable.
Look so elegant, kind of just walking into a room. It's like you're wearing half a dress. Well, I guess that's what a skirt is. It is half a dress. But
I just feel like it's a way to make me feel trendy because I'm so not trendy.
Throw a skirt on you.
Yeah, chuck a maxi skirt, tuck a graphic tee in, and it looks like I have a really nice sense of self. Yeah. Like, oh, this bitch knows who she is. All you need
is a shirt that says smile.
Rolling Stones.
No, smile because it happened.
Oh.
Don't cry.
I was going to say, like, there are so many, like, bitches and me, I'm bitches, with, like, graphic tees of, like, Dark Side of the Moon, The Prism.
Yeah, and you've never listened to it.
And I actually did try to listen to the album, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Snooze.
It was kind of like very instrumental. Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm good on this.
Yeah.
I check that box.
Check. Yeah.
But okay, the last thing I wanted to say about LulaRich is when I was watching, did it kind of empower you too to feel like you could do it?
Well, that is what I'm saying. Like, part of me
felt like I could.
It's like when I watch all those Scientology things. It's like part of my brain is like, oh, this is bad. But part of my brain is also like, maybe there's something more to this. or I'd like to hear the other side, at least. So I did, like I told you, I went on YouTube and I did take a fair and balanced approach. I watched some YouTube videos from independent retailers, who were still with the company, and they are enjoying success.
I was shocked to find it still up and running. I was shocked. You sent me.
Oh yeah, they just released their Halloween leggings.
Oh, so cute. It's like when you want to look like you're wearing pajamas in public, hit them up.
Yeah, and then there are the independent retailers who had a really sour experience with the company. But
I can't wait to get to the end. Because I love culty stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm so in. They really inspired me. I felt like I could do it. And I sort of was like, what's the problem?
The key with these MLMs, and this is the takeaway from all these like documentaries, is you have to be the first one in.
Yes.
Because
early. Gotta get in early.
So I think what we should do is look for up and coming MLMs.
Okay.
And get in and start building our downstream.
It did get me thinking, like, okay, what would I push to sell? I loved the rarity factor. I told you this. I love that they only release certain prints. Like, they only have like 3,000 of them.
Oh, yeah. They were like very much being like, oh, this is a negative. It's like, you can't get the prints you want. To me, that was the selling.
That was the positive.
That was the positive.
I loved it. It was like, you're not good enough to get the
And I didn't really understand some of the low-level retailers were like, oh, we don't have access to the premier prints. And I'm like, sweetie,
you're not good enough.
You're not good enough yet. You haven't demonstrated your capabilities.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this to you in a different way.
I just wanted in. I was like, should I get into LulaRich? Maybe
just for the products to start.
What would be my LulaRich? I don't know what I would sell.
Well, you don't really have a choice.
Well, I'm trying to think like if we started our own thing from the ground up.
Oh, we're making our own MLM?
Yeah. What would we sell?
What would the product be?
It's got to be like we have to be able to do different prints or different styles, so it's rare.
Yeah. What can we put a print on?
Should we sell like personalized like tumblers for water? You're like, bitch,
no,
get that shit away from the mic. Okay, all right. We can veer away from LulaRich. We'll think about it later.
Yeah.
Off mic.
Off mic.
Catch you later. Oh my gosh. I want to talk about The Proposal because I am fucking obsessed with this movie.
That's convenient.
Today's movie is The Proposal from 2009. You clicked it. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So, Steven,
what
did you think? You have never seen it before. I have.
Never seen this movie. And it was so wonderful. And this was the first time out of any of the movies that we've done where there was not just an ounce of chemistry, but like gallons of chemistry.
Gallons. Oh, I just got so excited and chills. This is the best.
Romance. There's romance.
This is the best chemistry we've seen.
Best chemistry we've seen. Best chemistry we've seen. And it's funny that this was 2009, like you just said, same year as New in Town.
Yes, we kind of did that on purpose. So I was like, I wanted to do two like fish out of water stories.
Right.
And see how they compared and contrasted. A lot more differences than I remember. Like I was like, oh, The Proposal will be like New in Town.
Right. That's what you told me.
Yeah, I did tell you that. I'm going on air
I did think that they were going to be the same, but they were really not really like each other at all.
Not even close.
So, I mean there were, no. I take that back. There were some similarities, but there were a lot more differences
more than I
you
expected.
led me to believe.
I just was like, oh, these are two sort of fish out of water comedies. Can we like agree there? The lowest common denominator is like, let's plug this woman somewhere where she's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think it's played for bigger effect in New in Town, but But you're right. There is that slight similarity between the two films.
Yeah, I don't know. They just reminded me of each other. They were both the same year.
Yeah.
But The Proposal, I think, stands the test of time. It is so good. I know so many people who fucking love this movie, my family included. It's charming.
It's just so weird that this movie came out the same year that she won an Oscar for The Blind Side. And I'm like, okay, girl, that's a problem. She should have won the Oscar for this movie and not The Blind Side.
Agreed.
You couldn't pay me to watch The Blind Side again. But like,
The Blind Side is so boring.
So boring. Like I can't even remember like one scene from it. This movie,
so boring.
This movie I could watch every day for the rest of my life. And like
Agreed.
she should have won. She should have won many Oscars so far. But this one in particular was so much better. That should be. They should let you do that at the Oscars. Is that if you win and you've had multiple movies come out that year, you then have the power to shift it to one of your other works that year if you want.
Yeah, you're like, I'm the best actress this year,
and I choose to transfer it to The Proposal. And they have to let you do it.
Oh my God, Academy. Are we taking notes? I hope we are.
That would be so cool because then they get up to the podium and it's like this big suspense. Like, oh my God, are they going to keep the award for this movie? Or are they going to shift it?
It's like a gift exchange. I'm going to trade.
Yeah. And like you can just hear the like suspense in the audience. Like, oh my God.
Why is this the most fun idea ever? Like I'm actually taking this trip.
What is she going to do?
I agree with you. Also, I want to just say really quick on record before I read the synopsis.
What?
This is kind of unrelated, but related. We both think Sandra Bullock was slighted for Gravity.
Oh, we're total Gravity nerds.
We're Gravity heads and we're pissed.
Who won that year?
Pissed. I don't remember. Was it like a Jennifer Lawrence year?
Was that Silver Linings Playbook?
I don't remember. Gravity... Whatever. We're not going to look it up either.
Whoever won
didn't deserve
shame on you.
We love Gravity. We think it's Sandra's best work ever. And it's a real shame. I wish she could retroactively trade the Blind Side Oscar for Gravity.
Yeah, if they allow you to transfer it year to year, then
Year to year, that's what I would do.
Yeah, but if she's limited to this year, then for sure it should.
Then for sure the proposal.
Yeah.
I love this. This is so
It
fun.
has to be that way. It's only fair.
Has to be.
Okay, that year
Oh my
Kate
gosh.
Blanchett won for Blue Jasmine. I like that movie too, but
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's allowed. We'll allow
no
it.
Gravity though.
Gravity is so good. Okay, let's read the summary and then let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, friends, as of our recording date today, this movie, The Proposal, is available on Peacock. That's where I watched it.
Same.
And this movie is...
By the way,
kind of
that's a new
curious.
service we're offering you guys.
Yeah, we've decided to let you know where you can watch this flick.
Because if there's one thing that we won't do, we won't be paying to watch these movies. So they will only be available on free services. So
Free, with commercials.
well, no, I guess you pay for Netflix and those kinds of things. You guys know what it means.
Yeah, free to us.
Yeah.
Because mommy pays. Hey, I pay for Hulu.
Yeah,
And
independently.
I independently pay for Hulu, and I've independently been paying for Paramount Plus just to watch the new iCarly.
Oh, we pay for Paramount Plus because I want to watch The Good Fight. Okay, back to the summary.
Okay, let's do the summary. The proposal. Faced with deportation to her native Canada, high-powered book editor Margaret Tate, Sandra Bullock, says she's engaged to marry Andrew Paxton, Ryan Reynolds, her hapless assistant. Andrew agrees to the charade, but imposes a few conditions of his own, including flying to Alaska to meet his eccentric family. With a suspicious immigration official always lurking nearby, Margaret and Andrew must stick to their wedding plan despite numerous mishaps. That's a fun one.
True.
That's a real fun one. Good job.
So true. All those things happen in the movie.
See, for once,
What?
all of those things happened. Like, that's the summary.
That's the summary.
That's it. The only thing I'll say is yeah, Andrew agrees to the charade, poses a few conditions of his own.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what? I have nothing to say. That's great. It's a good summary.
My little editor over here.
I was gonna be like, did you put more on him, saying like he's demanding her go to Alaska because it was kind of like a team effort? But no, nope.
Yeah.
It sounds good. Okay, the proposal. I mean, we start in my beloved New York City.
Right. We're in a normal city for once.
A normal city.
After spending time in Philadelphia, Miami,
We're back.
wherever she ends up in Newentown, we're back to civilization. We're back in New York City,
Thank God.
but we don't know that right away because she has a makeshift Peloton, if you will, and it begins with nature.
I saw that.
And I thought we were beginning with the jogging scene, which as we
Which would
point out
really
before,
fit.
is a real classic Star Vehicle opening scene, is our lead jogging. But we get close enough. She's on a bike. And
She's on a bike.
she has a video playing of a nature trail. So we begin.
Good opening image.
Good opening image. And
Solid.
We'll kind of come back to it later. But it looked like the same forest that we see later on. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Oh yeah, maybe that's like a little Easter egg.
I think
for
so.
production. They're like, file that away. That's coming back.
Yeah.
Keep that in the back of
the
your
footage
mind.
that we have from Alaska and shove it on the TV.
Can we green screen out this TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Because we're gonna want to.
Yeah. So she's biking, she's reading stuff, and
She's just like, she's behaving like someone who's important.
she's busy. She doesn't have
She's
time just to
busy.
exercise. She's also working.
Yeah. I was pretty shocked at what it seems like she gets in a morning. It's like a full bike ride, a full breakfast, a full shower, hair done, dried. That's like a 2-hour morning routine as far as I'm concerned.
She's very productive.
So productive. Probably similar to a morning of yours.
Similar to a morning of mine. This is not the kind of morning we saw with J-Lo in one of her movies. This is
Nope.
This is a tight ship.
It's tight. And Her assistant is Andrew, played by Ryan Reynolds. And he is grabbing her morning coffee.
Right.
And I have never forgot this detail in the 10 plus years. He gets the same coffee as her.
Oh, right.
Just in case one of them spills, she'll always have a backup.
Right.
And this particular morning,
thank God,
one of them spills.
But it also felt like a little bit of a callback to Miss Congeniality in the way that he runs into Starbucks and cuts the whole line and pisses off everyone.
The line. Maybe this is another trope we should add to the list, like a line cut.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it so many times. But he walked into Starbucks and
she was like, Andrew, I have your coffees.
Yeah. He literally just kind of walks in front of everyone.
I love a line skip. There's 2 line cuts in this movie. There and at the immigration center.
Yeah, and that barista is inappropriate. So I would put some of the blame on her too, because she's looking to get something out of it. As we find out later, because she writes suggestive messages on the coffee cup. But you're right, he does. He cuts the line to get the Starbucks. And when he gets back to the office before Sandra, there's like this Devil Wears Prada, gird your loins moment where the whole office gets an IM that Sandra's on her way, and they all freak out.
Okay, first of all, that office was too much of a party before she gets there. It was inappropriate.
I don't know how anyone was getting anything done. Like
they weren't. They were reading, talking.
They were talking,
chit-chatting.
No one was behaving, and no one was getting any work done. So I didn't really feel bad for them that the party was over.
I know, and they're all getting these like collective IMs that are like, the devil is coming or whatever.
The witch is on her broom.
Oh yeah, the witch is on her broom. That was super funny to me. I think you can give me your opinion on this. I think Sandra Bullock isn't mean. Like, she doesn't read mean.
Well, it's like when she walked into the office, she didn't have like the Meryl Streep moment where she just throws her coat haplessly at a human being. She kind of just walks to her office. Like she doesn't,
just like minding her business.
Minding her own business. So like, it wasn't like if she was like going cubicle to cubicle being like, what are you wearing? What's that? What are you doing? What are you eating? I would be like, oh, okay. Like she's really inappropriate, but she kind of just like walked to her office.
It seemed like she ruled with like a fair but firm fist. You know, it didn't seem like over the top.
Yeah, and
the only thing cluing us into the fact that she might be mean is those IMs, and that's it.
Right, because we see her on the phone with the client, and she's convincing the client to go on the Oprah Winfrey Show to sell 1 million books, and
power moves.
We're sort of led to believe through other interactions that she's being pushy with this client because they don't want to go on the Oprah Winfrey Show. But I was just like, why?
It's a good business decision.
Yeah, like it's nothing seemed strange. Like if I was a book editor and my client was asked to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show to sell the book, I wouldn't not tell them like the other guy.
That's like stop number 1 on the book tour.
Yeah.
The O.
Yeah. You're one and done. So
yeah, you don't have to do any others if you do Oprah.
Right. So I could understand her frustration with this office because it was like herding cats getting these people to work.
I know. I was like, okay, she seems just fine. Also, I appreciated it. I appreciated it because it is like a rom-com at the end of the day, and it is like a lighthearted story, and I didn't want to be terrified. Like, I didn't want to be reminded of my worst boss ever when I was like an unpaid intern getting coffees.
Yeah, like if she was like verbally and physically abusive, that would have been a really hard way to start the comedy. But it is a comedy. She just seemed to have normal expectations as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I enjoyed. It's like the shorthand with Sandra Bullock is she is very type A and she's on her shit and smart.
Yeah.
But she's not mean. I don't think she's mean.
She wasn't mean, and within 2 minutes, she ends up firing another guy at the office because it was his client. Exactly. It was his client, and we come to find out that he never asked the client to go on the Oprah Winfrey Show, even though that was his task. Like, he was told to do it.
Only job.
And she was like, I asked you to do literally one thing.
Yeah,
And
you
instead of
didn't
doing
even
that,
make the phone call.
You didn't even make the phone call. I was like, okay, get out. Get
You're
out of the
fired.
office.
Yeah, I had no problems there.
No problems.
None whatsoever. I love how fast this movie works. It's like that happens within minutes. We get like the her and Andrew relationship. He is kind of subservient to her.
Yeah.
Really nice. And within minutes, the immigration stuff comes up. They're like,
Right
Margaret,
away.
Right away. Within 5 minutes. They're like, you have a meeting with immigration. And she's like, cancel it. Who cares? And we find out like that's a problem.
Right. Then she gets called in with her bosses and they're like, now we're
bosses.
Involved. And you're going to be thrown back to Canada in a week or something like that.
Yes.
And she's like, there were a lot
I'm not even an immigrant.
I'm Canadian.
I'm from Canada.
There was a lot of dated immigration humor, let's just say, in the film.
Yeah.
So I won't be repeating all of the immigration jokes that Sandra Bullock makes, but just know that
some of them are a little off color.
A little off color.
Like the most tame one was it's not even like I'm an immigrant. I'm from Canada.
Right. That was
which
the easiest.
Is very
one to
tongue in
digest.
cheek.
Yeah.
That's really tongue in cheek. Like I'll call us out on that one. Like we love like no big deal. They're from Canada.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of like trope.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah. So in her meeting, she hears the word engaged, not in the context of
that
romance,
was well done.
But
he's like, I knew you were Margaret, I knew you're otherwise engaged. I told them. And she's like, ding, ding, ding.
And she comes up with a plan that she is going to say that she is engaged to Ryan Reynolds in order to secure a visa to stay in the country.
Yes. Or risk being deported for a year and losing her job.
Right.
And what we've gathered so far in 5 minutes is like, that is out of the question. Like she is a high-powered book publisher and that is not going to happen to her.
Yeah. And to add insult to injury, not only are they going to deport her, they're going to bring back the guy that she just fired to run the agency.
Yeah. And that would hurt worse than just being fired.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So very quick, streamlined. Andrew is like, I'm not going to go along with that. But she's like, yes, you are, bitch, because I'm going to blackmail you. And that's fun.
She has no qualms about saying openly that she is blackmailing him and that he has no choice but to follow her directions. And that's where we logic get this. Did make sense. Like, he would be screwed too.
Yeah, he'd be on the streets.
Yeah, as she said.
You'll be on the streets. I love her assumption that he is like a nobody. It's just funny. But what I was going to say is that's our second line cutting moment. They go down to the immigration office to start filing the paperwork to show that they're engaged.
Right.
And she cuts right to the front of the line.
Right. She goes right to the
in front of the other people at the immigration office, which again.
But they accommodate her.
They do.
They
Why?
don't bat an
Why?
eye. They don't bat an eye at her. They're just like, all right, come with me.
It might be a grander statement on like her like whiteness or something.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Who gets taken care of, you know?
They sort of, I'm like,
right to the front.
This lady, all right, come on back.
Well, we don't want to, but we'll take care of you.
And
no one batted an eyelash.
As we come to find out, her case in particular, the amount of time and attention that the immigration office gives her is astounding. I mean...
Yeah, they're under intense scrutiny
their case
from the moment they walk in.
Their case manager is going to be devoting a lot of time and resources to make sure that this is real.
Yeah, he's going to ask a lot of questions to all of their friends and family, themselves included, and their answers better match up, is what he says.
Honestly, Dennis O'Hare should have gotten an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor because he was so good in this movie. So good.
I was pretty shocked. I was like, does every case get this attention?
I don't think so.
No. I was like, okay, I guess we have to do it this way for the movie.
Yeah.
It was quite funny to watch them squirm. I think Ryan Reynolds gives probably the best reaction shots in any movie I've ever seen ever. He is really good. He's really chewing up the scenery next to Sandy.
They're doing a lot of great acting where for a lot of the movie, they don't look at each other. So they are making independent facial reactions.
Yes.
Because for great. 90% of the movie, they don't make eye contact. So
it's true. It's so true.
It is really funny because in a lot of the other movies we've watched, like the movie falls apart romance-wise because our leads are so quickly supposed to fall in love and like we're supposed to believe the chemistry. But like what makes this one work so well is that they are given the distance to at least come to like so that we can appreciate the characters on their own. Because like I think that if from beat one we like we were supposed to believe that Ryan Reynolds was secretly in love with Sandra Bullock, it would cheapen it. But it's like he like hates her. So
I was really studying this time around, being like, when do they kind of like make the switch? And it's really clear. Like it's a testament to really good acting. They're both killing it in this role. I love them together. This chemistry is wonderful.
Yeah. And they are very good at the reaction shots. Like Sandy is very good at like a little eye roll or like a shocked face. So she's
keeping it together.
Yeah.
I loved watching them like keep it together, but do that like it's like masking.
Yeah.
It's like they're keeping it together, but they have to show the audience that they're like, oh shit. When Dennis O'Hare's character is like, where does he live? And she's like, tell him. And she's not even looking at him.
She's like, why am I doing all the talking?
Why am I doing all the talking? It's your family, babe.
Yeah.
And he's like, Sitka, Alaska. And then that realization on her face, she's like, Alaska. Yeah.
That was just such a great moment because
it's a good moment.
I also had no idea that we were going to be going to Alaska at all.
You didn't know?
No, I had no idea. I thought we were going to be in New York City. I didn't know the whole movie was going to take place in Alaska.
I guess you're right. Why would you know that?
I had no idea. When he said Alaska, I was like, oh my God, are we going to Alaska?
Wasn't that a fun surprise?
It was a fun surprise because when he said Sitka, I had no idea where that was.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, and we get like right there. We're there pretty quickly.
Yeah, when they leave the immigration office, the plan is that they are going to have to go to Alaska, tell everybody that they are engaged because Dennis O'Hare threatens that he's going to call all their family members after this weekend trip and be like, I'm going to make sure that you guys announce your engagement at this weekend.
Gammy's 90th birthday.
Gammy's
weekend.
90th.
Yep. And we get a really fun scene out front of the immigration building where Ryan Reynolds basically says like, okay, if I'm going to do this for you, I'm getting a promotion and you have to propose to me. And he makes her get on her knees and propose. So
like good. Twice. He's like, say it like you mean it.
Like you mean it, Margaret. More of that Sandra Bullock physical comedy that I think she's so good at.
Yeah, that was a really cute scene. And I did like that not that I like enjoy watching men get even with women, but I did appreciate him being like, I'm going to get something out of this. Okay? I'm going to need to get something out of this too. Like, I want to be editor. I was
really happy.
Yeah, because again, it
gave him...
It made him a character. Like, he wasn't just...
Exactly, he wasn't just passive.
Right. It was in the same way that we don't like a lot of the male leads in all these movies suffer because there's no there. So... Yeah.
He could have been written where he just goes with it, because he's so scared of her or he doesn't want to lose his job. But I loved that he takes the power back and he's like, okay, well, if I'm going to face potential jail time, I'll do this for you, but I want to be editor and you're going to publish my manuscript.
Because again, like the easy way out of this would have been just to continue giving us clues that he is in love with her and like he's just going to do this. But it's a little bit more interesting than that.
Oh my God, it's so much more interesting. It makes them equals. Yeah. And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And he leaves her on the ground on her knees.
Yeah, and she has to stand up in stilettos. She has to stand in stilettos and a pencil skirt. Yeah. Which is very funny physical comedy. And then it also got me thinking a lot about like, just in general, wait, I don't want to bum out the podcast.
What? About how?
It's just like The ways we shackle women in this country.
So you're saying you wanted her to be in a maxi skirt?
Yes, a LulaRich, stretchy.
Yeah, she probably would have been more comfortable.
Skirt. It just made me think, like, how much time and time again has, like, comedy come from the fact that, like, look at this like little girl try to run in heels. It's like, fuck you guys. But no, this is a rom-com, and that wasn't meant to bum. That was meant to be funny.
Feels like it was.
Did I bum everybody out just now?
Yeah.
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock crushes it. And she, for someone who's beautiful, she's goofy. She does goofy very well. She's kind of like Cameron Diaz in that way. They're good at the goof.
Good at the goof, but we're also right on the plane. And we're ready to go to Alaska. Yes. Thank God.
Thank God. It's fast.
It's so fast.
We're there. And more physical comedy in the idea that they have to take 2 planes and a boat. To get to Sitka. And when they get to the boat and Sandra goes, I'm not getting on that boat. And he goes, cool, see you in a couple days.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't swim. And he goes, hence the boat. So good. Watching her like just brave the elements of Alaska, like ladders and such, and floating docks in those heels. So nice.
It did really make me want to go to Alaska. I've never wanted to go to Alaska more in my entire life than watching this movie.
Okay, not to brag. I went to Alaska.
You went to Alaska?
My family, okay.
On a cruise?
Yes. Do not go on a fucking cruise. I hate cruises.
That's like
Do you like cruises?
I've only been on one, and like I have no desire to get back on board. But
I never want to cruise ever again as long as I live. I fucking hate cruises.
After watching that HBO documentary, The Last Cruise, like about the cruise that was like the Corona cruise, I was like,
oh my God, I want to watch that. I'm writing that down.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good.
I'm in.
I feel like an Alaska cruise is such like a mom and dad thing. They're always like, it's like
my parents organized this whole thing.
Exactly. It's like, we're going to go on a cruise to somewhere cold. And it's like, why?
Bitch. I guess I'm like happy I saw a glacier or whatever before they're gone.
But
yeah, I've been to Alaska, and I'll just say
tell us about it.
I forget which town, but one of the towns is still like boasting. They're like, we were where they shot The Proposal. Like it's a thing there.
Oh, okay.
Because movies don't oft go to Alaska.
Well, I was going to say, you don't see it a lot unless it's like Balto. Yeah. But that's animated. Is that Alaska?
Balto?
I don't know if that was Alaska.
Dead at that reference. I will say a lot of these locations I did look up are Boston. Like that main street is Boston. But they did shoot some of this movie, which I'm assuming is...
It felt like Rhode Island. I don't know why, but I felt like we were in Rhode Island. Especially like the house.
Massachusetts.
The house felt very Rhode Island to me.
It did. I would have to look up where the house was. But yeah, they did shoot some exteriors in Alaska because Alaska is still bragging about it to this day.
Well, I mean, when you've got limited cultural clout, I guess you cling to what you have. So good for them.
What? They're like, we have snow dogs and we have The Proposal.
Right.
Next.
And maybe Balto.
Maybe Balto. Look it up. Wait, snow dogs might even be like Antarctica or something.
I don't know that one. But
moving on. Okay.
So whether it's Alaska or Boston, wherever, I would like to go to this area. It looked beautiful.
It absolutely did.
I don't know how it would smell. It looked a little smelly, but it looked a little fishy.
Like, where does their trash go?
Where does the trash go? Great question. But it looks stunning. Mary, whatever, Steenburgen is there.
Love her. Oh my God.
Betty White.
Gammy. Betty White is there. Betty White greets her and she's like, where's your girl? And then Sandra Bullock stomps up in the stilettos and Gammy goes, I guess the word girl is inappropriate.
She has a lot of quips in this movie.
Gammy feels like she's in a sitcom of her own.
She is. She is acting. She's doing sitcom acting, which is fine.
Yes. I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
I'm totally... Betty White can do whatever she wants. Because she can tap dance.
There's no best friend in this movie because Sandra Bullock doesn't have any friends and Ryan Reynolds also doesn't have any friends. So
they're
except for
each other.
That one woman who I would...
Oh, his high school girlfriend.
I really wanted to vote her off the island.
Why did I know you were going to say that? I don't know why.
I found her
I have no idea
insufferable.
Why. Oh, because I thought she was a very nice decoy for this movie. She's beautiful. She's nice. She doesn't seem to have any flaws. Do you know what I mean?
She's
the perfect
we'll get to
decoy.
this, but when she makes an entrance at the very end of the movie at a critical moment of trauma, I literally said out loud, "Get out of here.
You don't belong here.
Get out."
I knew you were gonna have this opinion. I knew it. Oh, I'm getting good at. I know you.
You're figuring me out.
Guys, I'm figuring him out.
So where
do we go?
Okay, they're on the boat and they get to the house. Oh, wait. As they're driving through the town, though, Sandy, ever the editor with a sharp eye, starts to notice that his last name, is plastered on all the buildings. Mm-hmm. Like every building. Like the general store,
every single
the library
in town, Paxton owned.
Yeah, Paxton owned. And she's like, what?
Bitch, you didn't tell me you were like the owners of this town. Like, you're rich.
Yeah. And
he's like,
then
my parents are rich.
Yeah. Right. She's like, that's what rich people say.
It's true.
And
it's very true.
That's very true. Money talks, wealth whispers. So they get to
classy.
Yeah. They get to his house and it is gorgeous. It is stunning.
Absolutely stunning. Mom, Mary Steenburgen, is like, we canceled your hotel reservation. You're going to come stay at the house. And this kind of kicks off one of my favorite sections of movies in general, is like that fun and games. Like, we're going to have like hijinks now.
Yeah.
Until that like nice midpoint. So like to kick off the hijinks, it's like, they're going to be sleeping in the same room. Yeah. One bed.
I knew that instantly.
Instantly. That's the shorthand of, we canceled your hotel reservation.
I was like, oh no. And I also, in this moment, realized, because I hadn't really put this together, I hadn't done the math yet, but when Mary Steenburgen mentions that the hotel room is canceled, I was like, oh my God, this is one of those 36-hour movies where everything takes place in a weekend.
Love those kind of movies, don't you? I love like a 2-day.
It literally, okay, this is not spoiling anything, but the movie begins on a Friday and it ends on a Monday. Like, I know. Literally.
It feels like we spent more screen time with them than real time.
Yeah, it
like, it feels like more.
Shot in real time.
Shot in real time.
But it really is 36 hours from the first scene to the last scene. Like, there's no time skips.
Heightens, let me tell you, which I appreciate the ever living shit out of. I love a 48-hour movie. I love a one-day movie. Yeah. And I want to see it heighten, and it's like a brilliant job. It's really just, it gets
and
there.
It felt well paced in the sense that this movie could not have taken place over weeks. It had to be a weekend. What a weekend.
And what a weekend it was. More hijinks ensue. They introduce Sandra Bullock to her arch nemesis, Kevin, the dog.
The dog.
He's so cute. And within like the first day, so I guess this is Saturday morning at this point. Yeah. She goes outside to get some cell service, and Kevin follows.
Yeah, because when Kevin is introduced, the only piece of information we get about Kevin is don't let him outside. The Eagles will get him. That's like, this is a movie that moves so quickly that there's no fluff knowledge. So like, as soon as Betty White said that, I was like, I hate bragging, but I was like, that dog's gonna get outside. I knew it. It's true. I knew it. And then 5 minutes later, that dog is outside.
5 minutes later, the dog is dangling from the claws of an eagle.
Literally. Like, when the eagle picked the dog up, I was, and I'm not a dog person, but I was like, are we gonna watch the dog die killed?
on her watch?
On her watch,
on
no
Margaret's
less.
watch.
The name Margaret also is really funny because
it's supposed to be uptight. Like, we're supposed to get that.
It's supposed to be uptight, but the amount of times they say Margaret in the movie is hundreds.
Stunning.
Hundreds of times. Margaret.
She corrects them too. Like, someone tries to call her Maggie. And she goes, Margaret.
Wait, we've skipped a critical section, which is...
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the next day. But the first day they're there, they have a welcome
my
party.
God.
They have a welcome party.
Yes.
Where,
Forgive me.
where we meet a few
I did
critical
skip it.
people. Number one, the bad dad. And number two, we meet Oscar from The Office. I don't know his name in the movie, but I will just call him Oscar.
Nunez. His name's Oscar.
And Oscar is a real Renaissance man in this town. He has many a job.
Loved it.
It's funny though because when you meet him initially, he's a classic star vehicle job. He's a cater waiter, and
Classic.
and you think that it's a one and done scene, but no, he will come back multiple times in multiple different trades and professions. And
did you like that? I love that. Like,
I
surprise.
thought it was so funny because it really made sense for the town. Like, we wouldn't have a cater waiter and an exotic dancer and a shopkeeper. Like, we'd really probably just have one person who had all the skills.
Yes, I loved it. It really it put the movie like in a little bit of a heightened reality, but oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah. When he's introduced to us as a cater waiter who forcibly puts a piece of seafood
Shoves
in
an
Sandra
appetizer
Bullock's
in Sandra's face.
her mouth. Which normally I don't love watching men put their hands on women's faces, but in this scene it was really funny.
It works.
It was really funny.
She sells it. She's like, no, it's the texture. So good.
And then no sooner does that piece of fish go into her mouth that she hears down the hall that Ryan Reynolds is announcing that they're engaged, and she promptly spits the seafood out onto Oscar, who has a really positive attitude. He doesn't seem to care about it.
Nope.
And
doesn't bother him.
And the plot has shifted forward again because they're engaged.
Yes. My applause and like my thanks to the screenwriters. It's just fast.
Me
It's like you almost think that they're not going to announce the engagement until Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's get through the weekend and then we'll announce it on our way home sort of deal. Nope. They kind of rip the rug right out from under you.
Yeah.
And they're like, day one, minute one.
Minute one.
Ryan Reynolds is going to announce we're engaged.
Because that
and it's
was,
kind of
go ahead.
to spite his father. That's all I was going to finish
to spite his father. But like to your point, it's like the whole drama of the weekend was supposed to be how they're going to announce their engagement. But like once you get that off the table in minute one, it really opens the door for a lot more fun.
Yeah, it frees you up.
And boy, does it open
thankful.
the door.
It really does. This is a very, very good movie screenplay-wise. It's phenom. Constantly surprising me. Constant surprises.
Yeah, you're right. So he does do that to spite his dad, who I understand that they wanted to add a little emotional complexity to the film, but I didn't want to spend any time with bad dad.
Me neither. That's why they cast Craig Nelson.
Yeah.
Just to get that shorthand of like bad dad.
Exactly. All you have to do is see him and you're like, ooh, bad dad.
I'm going to cough. Hold on.
Oh, I was like, okay, for viewers at home who could, for viewers at home, since we probably edited out her cough, Chanel tightened up her face as we were talking about the actor, and I was like, oh, she's going to do an impression of of bad dad. And then I saw that she wasn't breathing. And then I was like, oh, maybe this is a technique. And then no, she just coughed.
Wow, that was wild. Something like crawled into my windpipe. That was so scary. I thought I was going to die.
Happens a lot with you.
Oh God. Okay. Sorry guys. I literally almost like lost my shit with that cough. Okay. Okay. So if we do cut that whole section, Craig Nelson is shorthand for moody, masculine dad, like the typical you didn't live up to my expectations dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Business dad.
All business dad.
All business, no play.
Yes. And so oh my God, I loved this is like our first little fun and game moment. They have to improvise the story of their engagement in front of the whole crowd of friends, family,
everyone in the town.
Literally the whole town.
Yeah.
And it is the best like tag team story, the best choice they could have made. Of course, Ryan Reynolds could have just made up a story, or Sandy could have just made up a story. But the fact that they are kind of like trying to one up each other and tag team it is so funny and good.
Yeah, well, it's good because Sandy is trying to build it up each time she talks by trying to make it more romantic, and then Ryan Reynolds will undercut what she says.
Yeah, she's like the decoupage box.
Yeah,
and he's like, and she opened it, and she's like, and then he's like, and there was nothing in it. It was really, really well done.
Really well done.
They do their first kiss in front of everybody. Yeah. So funny. Just like a lip press.
They do a lip press, and then Betty White's like, kiss her for real. And then they have to do a second take. And this is the first time, if you're paying attention, that you see a hint of little romance.
A flutter. And like those reaction shots are actually kind of ridiculously they're ridiculous if you think about being in the room with them at that moment, because Ryan Reynolds is like opening his eyes like, what's going on here?
Yeah, they kind of open their eyes at different times. Yeah. Oh, it totally works.
Yeah, it really works. Yeah, so that's like our first introduction to everyone. What was that?
Fire truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's our first introduction to everyone. The first time they kind of have to keep the charade up, which I think is so funny.
Right.
Just very well done. Very well done.
Well done. And then this will catch us up to the dog scene that you jumped to before in the next morning.
Yeah, I missed my note to not skip the kiss story. Whatever, I'm only human. So I'm sure I'll have to apologize for something next week.
Okay, so for sure. They see Sandra trying to trade the dog for her cell phone, because what we didn't get to is that the eagle ends up taking her cell phone in exchange for the dog.
In exchange for Kevin.
And
she's like, no, wait, take Kevin back. It's so funny.
And the family sees her shaking the dog around on the lawn, and they're like, "Oh, she's playing with Kevin."
She loves Kevin. This is so funny. The best physical comedy ever. So goofy. I'm so in.
And then what did they do that day?
Okay. So day one, they're like, Ryan, honey, we're going to take your fiance for some girl stuff. Like, we're going to take her on the town.
Right.
And she's like, no, please, God, no. But she has no cell phone at this point, which is that's good. That's like another good choice. Get the cell phone out of her hand.
Yeah.
To really let her surrender to this experience. And then they take her in town. And that's when we get the Oscar Nunez as like local stripper scene.
They go to the local striptease show in the middle of the day. Well, it's hard to get a sense of the timing of anything.
Yeah, because it's Alaska.
It's Alaska. It's light all day. But they do go to the striptease show where Oscar is performing, and he's a real hit with the town.
They love him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sandy gets called to the stage. They throw, what's it called on her head?
A little veil.
A veil.
Yeah.
They put a veil on her head because she's a bride-to-be.
Yeah.
I love how on board Mom and Gammy are. There's never any, like, snag with them. They're not like, oh, really? Are you sure, Andrew? They're like, yep.
Well,
we love her.
So
this
much
is your wife.
so that like the next morning they are, or within hours, they're like, we're going to have the wedding this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Another surprise from this movie. Obsessed.
We're going to get married. They're going to get married that weekend.
She gets like Oscar Nunez's like package all up in her face. She's kind of like, oh my God, ew, ew, ew. We can't skip over the shower scene though.
Right. Well, they come
right
home
before they announce.
Which part?
Like, okay, so she comes back from the strip club and Andrew's coming back from... They come home and Andrew's angrily chopping wood.
Right.
So we're left to assume him and Dad have had like a spat.
Right.
And Andrew is on the balcony with his earbuds in, not realizing that Margaret is in the shower.
Uh-oh.
She forgets a towel.
Right.
And they stumble out of the shower at the exact same moment, naked and sandwich into each other. And it is comedy gold.
What unfortunate timing, but they do end up on top of each other. And
it is nice to see.
It is
it is nice to see.
Nice to see our stars connecting like that.
Sandra Bullock does some amazing naked acting. Good on her.
It's very like... very physically like Diane Keaton in Something's Gotta Give in terms of her like freak out when she sees Jack Nicholson. It's like
it's good. It's so good. Sandra is being like stared down by Kevin the dog as she's like trying to get that towel, and she's trying to cover up, and then like, ooh, we're getting cross cuts between Ryan coming in, and it's like, you know what's gonna happen, but it's just so sweet when it happens.
So sweet and really
so sweet.
And again, it's just like putting a lead foot on the gas pedal. We are moving quickly.
We are moving forward. Because quite actually minutes after that, they have to, they rush to get in the bed together to make it look like that they like each other. And then Mom and Gammy come in and they're like, we have a brilliant idea. Yeah. You guys should get married here tomorrow. So good. Move it up.
So good. And they're like, we have to do it because Betty White could die at any moment. So if you don't have the wedding, you have to tell her to her face. And they decide to do it.
They're like, all right, let's do it. And it really ups the stakes because like what they're doing is illegal. They thought they could do it kind of quiet, hush, hush under the table. And it's like each step of the way, they're being forced to do it bigger, grander, and more publicly.
Right.
Which is amazing.
It is wonderful from a law perspective to see how far they're going to push things. But they got to get a wedding together.
I know. Fast. I'm trying to remember, when is the Get Low sequence? Is it before or after? They make this announcement.
No, that's a little bit later, I think.
Okay.
Because first they have to go look for a wedding dress.
Yes. And it is like an antique from the fam. Another really funny bit of physical comedy. Gammy puts her in the old dress and she's like, well, it's a tad loose in certain areas. And it has these like two deflated like breast sacs.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, she goes searching for Sandra Bullock's parts, and then they have a really sweet moment though where Betty White gives her like a family heirloom necklace, and
oh my god, I know.
It's a really touching moment because Sandra Bullock doesn't have any family, and this is the first time that she feels like she's a part of a group.
Mm-hmm. And Star Vehicle trope number, I don't know, probably number one, honestly, is dead parents.
Oh, dead parents. Yeah.
Dead parents is like, let's get our lead alone. Make them feel alone. Yeah. No family, nothing.
I didn't bat an eye when she said she didn't have any parents. It was like...
I was like, of course not. Why would she?
Why would you? Why would you be in this movie with a family?
Yeah, it makes sense. Why would you go to Alaska drop of a hat if you had parents?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Yeah, I think that we did skip the Get Low sequence because I have it in my notes beforehand, but it doesn't really matter in terms of order.
No.
But I did want to put it to you. Like, did you like that sequence? It's so funny.
It felt okay. So she's walking.
It felt like you were weirded out by it.
I was weirded out because she's walking through the forest, and they give us like a POV shot of her walking, which felt very much like her Peloton fake bike riding scene in the beginning. And
the forest.
And she hears some chanting, and it turns out to be Betty White. And
which is a little confusing. Is she spiritual? Is she native? Is she going in crazy?
That was the only thing, is that
it's a little confusing.
It was a little confusing. And just felt like maybe it should have been somebody who was not Betty White doing the dance.
Well, her name's Betty White.
Yeah. It was how about this? It was someone else's culture that they were having a little fun with. Having some fun with. So
yeah. So I just wrote that, it hits differently. That's all I wrote. It hits different. Sandy like does like a Native American chant, but the lyrics are to get low.
Yeah.
You know. We just have to bring up her dancing, like her just letting loose, her getting really physical with it again. letting her hair down, literally letting her hair down. At this point in the movie, her hair has come down.
She's relaxed.
It used to be in a slick pony. Now it's down. This is kind of when Ryan Reynolds kind of sees her in a different light too, you know, after that kiss the night before. Now they're kind of like seeing each other differently. And then we get like the shower scene, and then right after that they're like engaged, and she's in the wedding dress and the heirloom. It's all just really snowballing very beautifully.
All in the right direction.
All in the right direction.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so then I wrote, what a really modest dress.
It is very modest. It covers every square inch of her body.
Including her neck.
Including her neck and her wrist.
But I didn't hate it. It was very pretty.
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was a nice color on her. It was like a champagne color.
You have a saying, modesty is
always in season. So
always
like
in season.
It was nice to get a little bit of a kind of conservative wedding dress. Because the film does have, you know, I don't know if it's conservative or what messaging, but it's almost like pro-arranged marriages, because the movie
this is like 90 Day Fiancé.
It's very 90 Day Fiancé in the sense that like you can make it work with somebody that you might not have thought you wanted to make it work with, because it's mutually beneficial for everybody. And they come to love each other over time. And I think it's a nice refreshing take.
I was really into it. It's like you do kind of want to suspend a little bit of your disbelief in the timeline of it all. You're like, okay, 2 days, really, bitch?
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have some really beautiful connecting moments. They talk late at night when he's on the floor, she's in the big bed.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of like she reveals a little bit about herself, which we know she's like used to being alone. She's been on her own since she's 16. Dead parents. She
likes this one song. They sing the song together.
They sing the song.
They bond.
It takes two to make a thing go right. And Ryan Reynolds is very funny too. That might have got him Deadpool. Honestly, this movie might have booked him Deadpool.
It's a great role for him.
It is. It's a very flashy role for Reynolds. He's good. Flashy. So do we want to fast forward then? Do we want to just skip ahead to the wedding?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, we've been talking about just snowballs towards this wedding. And
yeah. Oh, wait, the special agent does surprise them.
Right. So right before the wedding, Bad Dad greets the two of them after they've had some fun together. And they're actually in pretty good spirits. And Bad Dad is like, get in here now.
Yeah.
Follow me.
Talk.
Follow me. Mom will never hear about this. And you get in here. And he brings them to the barn where they're going to have their wedding. So, you know, this is supposed to be a romantic spot. And Dennis O'Hare is there.
Yep.
The immigration attorney or immigration case manager is there.
He made a special trip.
And Bad Dad has secured a deal for Ryan Reynolds to be like, listen, if you admit that this is a sham, you will get off free or something like that. And
yeah, like you'll be fine. I'll give you immunity.
I'll give you immunity, and I'll get this lady off to Canada.
Mm-hmm. Ship her away immediately.
And
yeah, but Ryan is so hurt by his dad's like move that he doubles down on the lie, which I just love. I love every step of the way. We're doubling down on it.
Yeah,
you know, we're still on, and he's like, nope. I love Margaret. I proposed to her. Like, this is happening. Dad, you're bad, Dad.
You're a bad dad.
You're a bad dad.
And
I hated that the special agent is in the audience.
Well, that's the thing. Wedding. Like, the special agent from immigration stays. I guess he gets a hotel room and he attends the wedding.
I was like, really? Really? This guy's in the front row of your wedding?
Everyone. So the wedding arrives. It's a few hours later. And Sandra looks great in her dress. She walks down the aisle. And, of course, Oscar from The Office is the officiant. Of course he is.
It's too tight. It's a tight movie.
They start the proceedings. Bad Dad has a sour look on his face, but everyone else is really excited.
Yeah, Gammy and Mom are just beaming ear to ear. They're so happy to see she's so happy to see her son get married.
Yeah. And then Sandra has a moment.
Yeah. She gives us that 10th hour,
Yeah.
pretty classic rom-com, probably Star Vehicle also speech.
Yeah.
That like
always
I've come around
always
speech.
the least interesting part of the movie, but it has to be done.
It's the least interesting because you know it's coming and you know it has to happen.
Yeah. She has to end it.
What I will say though is, how do you feel? Because I had seen this movie before. Do you think they do a good job burying the lead? Like, are you kind of not sure if maybe they're going to do it or not? Or do you know that at this point that she's going to pull out of the wedding?
Well, so I think what we've been seeing is like the momentum of this movie is interesting because normally you would expect the big hang up to happen before the wedding. Like, maybe like finding out that he's already married to that blonde girl, like something would have happened before they get to the altar. So the fact that we're at the altar and like nothing really has gone wrong, like there's no problem yet. Like it's had
another way to really keep us on our toes.
So I was sort of just like, what is going to happen?
We're going to get married today.
Well, right. And I'm like, okay, they're going to get married. And then I was like, I guess the only solution is that like they get married and then they find out that they're really in love. But no, Sandra's
she has
like,
a very
you know
tearful,
what?
beautiful speech.
She's like, this isn't going to work. And she sort of flips it around on him, which is a little manipulative. And she's like, I can't believe that you would do this to your family. And I was like,
oh my God.
That's a move.
He's like doing it for you, bitch.
Yeah. And she was like, she's like, look at what you have. Look at what you have. I can't believe you would do this to your family. And
yeah. That's when she kind of looks at the ex-girlfriend, right?
Yeah. I think she's like, you have everything you need here. And like, this is not fair. And she's like, if I had a family, I wouldn't do this. I was like,
all right. I think you're stretching it a little.
Yeah. Well, this conversation kind of spills over because she like leaves him at the altar. He goes after her.
Immediately hops a plane. I appreciated they didn't go with the trope of like stopping her at an airport or stopping her on the plane. Like she goes. She's back in New York. She's gone. And it was really sweet because Mom and Gammy are like, no one's mad at him, really. No one's really mad at the situation. They're kind of like, he loves her.
Yeah, I felt this was the first time that I really did align with Bad Dad because I was like, was like, wait, I'm confused. You like her? And I was like, I feel for you because it was like the grandmom and the mom very quickly are like, go get her, son.
Go get her. You love her.
And I was like, how would you know? Because I
needed
barely
like an
know.
aside there.
I
needed an aside from Craig T. Nelson just going to like beaming eye contact into the camera lens and going like, I know you're probably confused, but he loves her.
Yeah, I think I was just like missing. Look, well, obviously we're being thrown these hints that there's more that meets the eye, but like.
It's a really gentle love story.
Loving her was,
Yeah. Do you want to know what I kind of expected? Because I did forget a little bit of like the plot points of this movie.
What?
I kind of expected, I think by day 3, that she was going to say, come up in the bed with me. I don't know why I thought that.
Well,
but that could have been like a small hint that they're coming around.
Yeah. When they were singing the song together and he's on the floor and she's on the bed. What I was sort of expecting is like, like they would start dancing, right? Like he would get up and like, he's like dancing and she's dancing and like they're kind of like dancing around the bed and then like they do like that classic like, and they both like lean back on the bed like that.
Yeah, and there's like an out breath, an exhale,
and they just kind of both lean back on the bed and like are like, maybe there's something going on here, but
they kept it respectful. They kept them very separate in their own separate shots. He's on the floor, she's in the bed the whole time.
But you're right. There isn't a lot of physical intimacy between the two of them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at this point they've seen each other naked, right? In a very funny way though.
Right.
So we're not really like, did they feel anything there?
She's still his boss.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I would rather what they did, which is like a lighter hand on the intimacy and the coming around to the love story than like a too heavy hand.
Right.
So I'm happy where we are.
Yeah.
I just did. it just really was funny that we needed those lines of exposition where Mom and Gammy literally go, he loves her. Go get her.
Yeah, it was helpful for me because
we needed
could have gone either way.
Because he could have been like, oh, well, I guess I'm off the hook now.
Right. Because, well, one of them
he could have just stayed in Alaska depressed.
Yeah.
That he lost his job. Exactly.
But no, Gammy, whatever. She fakes a heart attack.
Gammy.
And she uses that as a way to get everybody to forgive each other and to be like, and now you have to go to New York and get her.
Yeah, they're literally on the plane airlifting her to the hospital, and she goes, reroute to the airport, please. Yes. And he goes, I can't do that. And she goes, I'll call your mom.
Yeah.
I love the small town like jokes and elements.
Yeah, it was a great way to repair all the emotional damage, was just have Betty White pretend die, and force everyone to forgive each other on the spot.
Yeah, in fitting with the timeline of this movie, it works. It's like instant.
It resolved all the emotional conflict from decades in 30 seconds.
And we got him to the airport.
We got him to the
very
airport
quickly, and she is the pull to do it.
Yeah, and
she knows the guy who drives the plane.
And all of a sudden, we're back in New York City. Sandra Bullock is in the office, and it's
packing up her stuff,
sour day,
making demands.
Yeah, I mean, she's still working there, but she's got to go.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan Reynolds comes in. I feel like there's like a sweep of IMs again across the office.
Something.
Like, no, maybe I'm mistaking.
You know what I think it was? It was when they initially announced to the boss that they were getting married.
That they're getting married.
That everyone started.
They're like, Margaret and Andrew are getting hitched.
Yeah.
What? And there's like all these IMs popping up everywhere. I'm like, hide your shit better, people.
Yeah. He meets her back in the office, and this is like a 2-minute scene, but
it's fast.
The movie has to end. It has to end.
Yeah, unfortunately, it has to end.
And they decide to. What does he say? The wording is like, "Will you marry me so that I can date you?"
Because I'd like to date you. Marry me. Because I'd like to date you.
It's really good.
And I wrote, does love really work like this? LOL.
I think it's worth a shot.
But it's worth it. I'm like, does this legally hold up?
Well,
like,
okay, on 90 Day Fiancé.
Now that there's no lying.
Right.
Does that hold up?
But like on 90 Day Fiancé, it takes a while to get the K1 visa, which is the 90 Day Fiancé visa, because it can take even longer on like the whole reason why these people go through on 90 Day Fiancé with the K1 visa is because if you get the marriage visa, the government is less likely to grant those because you have less of like a documented history of being together. So like that's why they go through the K1 visa to demonstrate like they are together, and then if they get married during it, then you get to stay.
Wow, I knew you were gonna have.
So I was just a little bit surprised. Yeah, I was like, wow, they're gonna get married. I just felt like the paperwork was gonna take too long.
But that's not our problem because the movie's gonna end and we don't have to deal with the paperwork.
That's right. So they go to the.
So they kiss.
They kiss.
It's really good. Someone in the peanut gallery goes, "Show her who's boss, Andrew." So good.
Yeah.
And they go to the immigration office to make it legal.
They go to the office again. To your point though, like Sandy has her hair down. It's wavy. She's wearing like a nice little sweater. She doesn't look anything like she did stuck up before. And
no slick pony.
And Dennis O'Hare's like, the consequences? You ready to play this game again? And they're like, let's go for it. And it cuts to the credits, and you would be a fool if you turned the movie off. Because this is the best scene of the whole movie, is the credits.
Yes, it's a great epilogue. An amazing little tag on.
And during the credits, they pepper in these scenes of all our cast and characters being interviewed by Dennis O'Hare for comedic effect.
So good.
Oscar from The Office is there.
Yes.
He's like soulmates.
He's good.
Honestly,
that man is underutilized.
Underutilized.
Really
like he turned in a really like multifaceted performance.
That should have been his like breakout. Like that should have been his Melissa McCarthy Bridesmaids moment. That should have been his like Steve Carell as 40-Year-Old Virgin moment. Like I know it's not a leading role, but Oscar Nunez should have been booking leads after that.
Because what he wasn't doing
100%.
is he wasn't playing Oscar from The Office. Like it was it was a totally different character, and it was so wonderful.
I did feel bad for him because this unfortunately gets thrust upon a lot of people of color in the industry. Like they have to put on this accent that might not be their native accent just for like a lull.
Oh yeah.
So I would only hope that he was down for it and was so in, because it was a very well done, very funny character.
So funny.
And it was in his culture. You know what I mean?
So funny.
And he was great. So I mean, justice for Oscar, but
justice for Oscar.
Seriously.
And
an Oscar for Oscar.
Oscar for Oscar. And Dennis O'Hare is asking them funny questions.
It's too good.
Of course, Sandra doesn't know the answer to any of them. And
her favorite color? Blue? I think.
And then
the questions were very funny.
He asked Ryan Reynolds, he goes, what side of the bed does she sleep on? And he goes, the left side. And he goes, okay, and what side of the bed do you sleep on? And he just looks at it.
Ryan Reynolds has the amazing faces for that. Those like, come on, dude faces. It's very Jim from The Office, if you've seen.
If I've seen The Office?
Have you seen The Office? He has those very like, come on faces, and they're very good.
It was.
Yeah, star making for Reynolds as well.
It was good because I think a lot of the male like romance leads that we've seen in these other movies have almost had this like, they've been trying to uphold this like more rigid masculinity that Ryan Reynolds is not doing, and it plays a lot better. It's like the other guys in these movies are so stiff, like looking at you, Harry Connick Jr., like like there's no fun at all. It's like you are a guy being a guy in like the worst sense of the word.
I think we really like got close or really nailed it when we were like earlier talking about they have to be on equal footing. They've got to be equals.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mean equal screen time because Sandra Bullock is the star, but I mean power. More Sandy, please. But in terms of like power dynamics, they do need to be equal. And my favorite movies across time have that. I only just recently saw When Harry Met Sally, but I felt like they were kind of like equals in it, you know?
What's different about this movie as opposed to some of the other ones is that the men in the other movies that we've looked at are defined by like their want and like lust for the woman. And at least Ryan Reynolds here, he is attracted to Sandra Bullock, but he also has like a career aspiration that is
and I mean we spend
the
movie with his family.
Oh yeah, which is true.
Which is really revealing about him. It's like he had a withholding dad, a loving mom, a doting grandma. Like this movie, the man is not a set piece. He's not a piece of scenery. He like has agency. It's really funny that we're like arguing for men.
Yeah.
Because
they have it so hard.
Men have it so hard in society and especially in movies, and like justice for men.
Well, I think what we're trying to say is that, you know, we're not arguing on behalf of all men, but I think it's like the romantic comedy to work, both characters need to be fully realized. Otherwise the romance doesn't land.
Yeah, I'll say it's like it's not gendered in like a societal way. It's not like we're not making grander statements about the patriarchy or whatever. It quite literally is just you want two main characters who you're equally invested in, and that's what this movie kills it in. Like
that's the proposal, if you will.
Hey Ryan, I have a proposal.
Hey Ryan,
I know you're otherwise engaged. Proposal. One of the first instances where I really like the title.
I like works. The title. Yeah.
She does get on her knee and give a proposal.
It's a romantic proposal. It's a career proposal. It's a family proposal.
And it hits that double entendre, by the way,
right.
that every Star Vehicle title needs to hit.
Also, like, such an iconic movie poster. Like,
oh, yes. It's good.
I can close my eyes and see her, like, standing in her pencil skirt, opening the ring box, looking at you, the audience. Like,
yes.
Classic.
Yes, she looked so good. The proposal. I'm skimming the movie right now. There's a moment where she wakes up, I guess, on Sunday morning and puts makeup on. She's like... So that was another little hint. They do a good job. It's subtle. They do such a good job. She wakes up, she puts a little lip gloss on, and that's when mom and dad come in to ask, like, will you get married tomorrow?
Well, she does.
Or tonight.
She looks very severe.
Or later.
Yeah, she looks very severe, like in the beginning of the movie, so much so that Ryan Reynolds makes the comment that she looks like she's someone who would be snacking on children when they dream. Which
those
I
lines
love
are
infinitely
funny. It's just like in the same way that in 2 weeks notice we were supposed to we're like, she's an overeater. What?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, wait, Sandra Bullock's mean?
Yeah.
She sucks.
There was a lot of like,
it's funny.
There is so much funny teasing in the movie. Like in the beginning where Sandra Bullock is trying to get her luggage onto the boat and Betty White is like, Ryan Reynolds, you need to help her. And he's like, no,
she won't let me.
She won't let me. She's a feminist.
She's a feminist.
And Betty White's like,
oh, that's like an instant explainer. It's really funny. Nice. I love when he takes her Louis Vuitton bag and chucks it on the boat and it lands in the water.
It's like 5-second rule.
That was so funny. I was genuinely concerned. I was like, would that bag float in real life? Because like, I don't want people getting any ideas.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of great banter between the two of them. I would say that like this is a great romantic comedy. Like that's the beginning, middle, and end of the story.
Yeah. Oh my God, we forgot that he rescues her from drowning.
Oh right, when he flips her off the
Unimportant.
boat.
Unimportant. That's when she's really starting to freak out and like think maybe I can't go through with this. And so she hijacks the boat.
Yeah.
And he whips it and she flies off.
Like
and
stunt double, like whips off the camera.
Rips away from this boat.
Yeah.
And
even when she's looking like a drowned rat in the water, he's also just kind of like, I like what I see.
Yeah, because then it's really life or death. Because we've heard in the beginning, she can't swim
at all.
Which she does a very good job getting to that buoy and treading water for not being able to swim. Just saying.
Yeah, because what the scene wasn't, it wasn't like her head was going under. It was
she was above water.
She was above water the whole time.
Fully above water, able to talk.
Yeah. I'm like, over here.
Andrew. And thank God she was wearing yellow and a scarf. Yeah, but that's the moment he pulls her on board and they're kind of like hugging and cuddling. And I was like, oh my God, kiss now.
Yeah.
They did it. The tension was just so well done because every step of the way, you really do want them. You really do want them on top of each other naked. Is that just me?
Oh.
Chanel, modesty
yeah,
is
come on.
always in season. Come on, bitch. So I love this movie. Mm-hmm. It is still funny.
Yeah.
Most of it stands the test of time. We'll ignore some off-color immigration humor and Betty White's. Maybe Betty White's native. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say she's definitely not.
Yeah, but
maybe her character is. I don't know.
You're right.
Native Alaskan.
Still wrong.
Still wrong. We're not to go on record. We're not saying that she's native.
Wrong.
She's not native.
No, I'm gonna clear that one up right now.
Yeah. And yeah, I fucking love this movie.
It was wonderful.
Success.
It was a great kind of companion piece to New in Town, although I would say they are not really the same type of movie.
We've made almost zero connections. Between the two.
Absolutely
none. If anything, the small town element is kind of cool. The woman who's cooking her dinner and tucking her in at night is like the woman who's her secretary in New in Town. That sort of small town deal.
Yeah. I would say like I knew going into New in Town that we were going to be going to a new town. I didn't know in the proposal that we were going to be going to Alaska.
We were jet setting to Alaska.
But
If you can get there, get to Alaska.
Yeah. Sponsor.
Don't go on a cruise.
No, don't go on a cruise.
I guess it really is one of the only ways to see all of like the key points in Alaska, I will say, is on a boat.
Okay.
And if you want to see a glacier, you really do have to boat to it.
You don't say.
So I don't know. Just don't go on Norwegian, okay, guys? Oh? I have a real problem with Norwegian.
Why? They have the
dine free.
Yeah, the dining free policy.
You
want a formal seating?
I've actually only ever been on a Norwegian cruise.
That was what we went on once.
3 or 4 times, but I'm so over it. It's a lot of families. It's like families with very young children. And so the entertainment on board is straight up bingo.
Oh.
It's bingo and like movies.
There
and,
was bingo when we went on our Norwegian cruise.
Yeah, and we were supposed to get off the boat in Vancouver. Oh my God, we spent like $200 on bingo. And we got these shirts. I still have it.
I remember we went as our like you get the cruise calendar for the day, and it's like, oh, bingo at 3 p.m. in the Lido Auditorium.
The atrium.
So you go, and it's like you sit down, no bingo card on the seat, and then it's like, oh, you come to find out, it's like you pay.
You go buy it.
You pay by like row and column each game.
Yeah. And we're a family of 5. We spent $200 on bingo. That is not an exaggeration. That's probably an underestimate.
Yeah, underestimate. I had no idea like how expensive it was to play bingo.
It's fucking expensive. And we were so like desperate for entertainment that you fucking play because you're literally trapped on board.
And I just
want to try something older.
There is only so much you can eat.
Every time I would be bored, I'm fucking hitting up the cafeteria for like a piece of Jell-O.
Yeah.
I hate Jell-O. Yeah, it's just families, but I've only ever been on Norwegian, but I want to try something younger if I were to cruise again.
I think we should do a celebrity cruise, the Celebrity X cruise.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to say, let's go on a Disney cruise.
Well, I would want to go on a Disney cruise, but
I would celebrity.
The problem is the children. There's going to be, I guarantee there are going to be kids on a Disney cruise. In fact, more than
probably more, Chanel. Yeah, wait, you're right. I've heard Carnival's fun.
Carnival, yeah, but I think Carnival is going to be too party. Too much. Yeah, I don't want that level of party.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting on a boat, an enclosed boat for like a decade at this rate. Yeah, Alaska was a lot of daylight.
Yeah.
Well, hate to leave you guys on that note because go visit Alaska, go stimulate their local economy, great people out there. If you're young, a lot of people go out there for the summers to work. It's very fun.
What are you talking about?
I do love how I'm just plugging the state of Alaska.
What Alaska tourism brochure are you reading from?
I plug the entire state. Yeah. Just Alaska.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm dying. Well, I think that means we're good on this episode. So thanks so much for listening.
We've exhausted everything Alaska has to offer.
Yeah, we're done with Alaska / Boston where this was shot.
Aww.
Thanks for listening, you guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe.
Follow us on all social media platforms if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, Steven's killing it on the Instagram game where they are chatting with people. So come comment there too. Yeah. And share this with your friends. If you think somebody will think this is funny, give it a share.
And if you live in a small town like this, well, like the movie, share it with your whole town.
Yeah. Share this episode far and wide with your small town.
This could be our MLM. Share this to 5 people and then make those 5 people share it to 5 other people.
Mm-hmm. And then report back.
Yeah, send us proof.
We want a spreadsheet of the umbrella.
Yeah, and give us their...
Not a pyramid.
And give us their home addresses and phone numbers, and then we're going to Dennis O'Hare this and come check up on them personally and make sure.
Yeah. We will be making unannounced visits.
House calls.
House calls. Let us know if you want a house call. Yeah. We will.
We'll do it.
Okay, if you sign up 1,000 people, we'll make a house call.
We'll record in your living room. How about that?
Guarantee us 1,000 subscribers with documentation, and we're coming.
Yep. Whether you like it or not, actually. It's a no choice policy.
We like cameo. Yeah. They're like family weekend in Alaska. That'd be fun.
Well, okay. At a certain point, a promise becomes a threat, but just keep that in mind, guys. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Steven.
Bye, Chanel.
Bye, bitch.